Next week on Home and Away in the UK, Irene finally makes her return to Summer Bay after 7 months away, for what will be the character's swan song. Irene was last seen on UK screens back in September, as the recovering alcoholic headed to rehab after falling off the wagon for the first time in 9 years. The relapse came after Irene discovered she had been conned by new friend Bronte, who had claimed to be suffering from a terminal illness. Irene rallied the community in the hope of raising $100,000 to send Bronte off for experimental treatment in Canada, only to later discover it was all a scam. Devastated at putting all her loved ones in danger, both financially and physically, considering lodger Dana had been abducted by Bronte, Irene fell into a downward spiral and began drinking. Best friend John soon discovered Irene's relapse when he found her crying over a broken bottle, but despite Irene promising to attend AA meetings, she instead opted to start drinking openly in front of her friends, claiming she now had it under control. When John returned from a visit to the city, he was shocked to find that Irene hadn't sought help as promised. But as he refused to humor Irene's new stance on drinking, Irene pushed John away. Things finally came to a head after Irene fell down the stairs and was admitted to hospital. When Bree found Irene sipping from a hip flask in her hospital bed, Irene realized she had reached a new low. Apologizing to John, who vowed to stand by her, Irene admitted herself to rehab. In some respects, looking back over the years and the times she has fallen off the wagon, this one is the worst, Lynn told Aussie Magazine TV Week. The stakes were much higher because she was encouraged to go away to a facility. 7 months on, Harper and Tane are surprised when they learn that Irene has turned down an invite to their wedding. It's equally as baffling to John and Dana, with Dana commenting that Irene had been looking forward to it last time they spoke. John and Leah decide to take matters into their own hands and pay a visit to Irene at the rehab facility, in an attempt to find out what's going on. Irene is surprised to see the pair, and whilst she puts on a brave face, it's clear that she's a little put out as she tells them she is about to head to her Tai Chi class. John and Leah offer to wait. When they later catch up, Leah asks Irene outright why she's not attending the wedding. Irene doesn't sugarcoat it. Right now, she's not ready to make promises she might not be able to keep. John casts a knowing look in Leah's direction, quietly wondering if there's more to the story. Irene remains firm though, her recovery is personal, and she's not inviting anyone to weigh in with their opinions. John later rings Irene to apologize, concerned they may have upset her. Irene admits to John that she's scared, but refuses to tell him what before hanging up. John resolves to visit Irene again the next day, again roping Leah in to join him. Upon arrival, they're met with a lukewarm reception. Irene's clearly not expecting, nor particularly thrilled, to see them turn up unannounced again so soon. Irene puts up her defenses, but John isn't having it. Refusing to back down, he joins an art workshop Irene's attending, using the time to gently probe what's really keeping her from returning for the big day. Eventually, Irene opens up. She explains that the thought of coming back to Summer Bay brings up too many painful memories. Being surrounded by familiar faces, the same ones who had seen her at her lowest, might be enough to tempt her into drinking again. Irene has become very comfortable in rehab, Lynn added. She enjoys the routine. She's not quite ready to deal with the outside world. John reassures her that no one would be judging her, and that even in moments of doubt, she's far stronger than she realizes. More importantly, she wouldn't be facing it all alone. They would all be there to support her. Later that day, a reluctant Irene emerges with her bags packed to join John and Leah, having been convinced to come home with them. But as they drive past the infamous "Welcome to Summer Bay" sign, Irene begins to panic, and hurriedly tells John to pull over. Irene is shaking in fear as steps out the car to take a breath. Is she really ready to return home? Irene's stint in rehab came as the result of Lynn taking an extended break for a touring theatre production, The Grandparents Club. Shortly before her return to Australian screens back in February, however, it was announced that Lynn had decided to hang up her diner apron for good. After almost 33 years in my dream role and working every day with people who I love, respect and whom I now consider family, it's bittersweet to be closing the chapter on what has been the best and longest gig of my life, Lynn said in a statement. I am forever grateful to the best production crew in the world and to our genius writers, whose doors are always open, for everything they have done for Irene over the past 33-odd years, and I am so proud of the storyline which will see Irene out of the bay. Above all, a massive, heartfelt thank you to the fans for your continued love and support. On Wednesday 26 March, Lynn filmed her final ever scenes at 7 Zevely Studios in front of a gathering of cast and crew members. I've had the ride of my life, she said during an emotional speech. And I love each and every one of you so much. The cast: Ray, Mar, Alf, Georgie, Parker, Rue, Emily, Simons, Marilyn, Shane, Withington, John, Ada, Nicodemu, Leah, James, Stuart, Justin, all the young'uns. The art department, the writers, everybody, there's so many unsung heroes. This show is made up of so many parts. You're all amazing, and it's been my great privilege to work with each and every one of you. I'm touched, I'm humbled and I'm so honored. Thank you so much.